pages. So thank you so much, Karan, for for being the torchbearer and then adding a name first. I do see you have an item waiting today as well. So yeah, I do not have access to approve that, but Vishal would. I think Vishal would do that later, but I'll just add my name in here. And the others can also add their names up here in this section. Great. And with that, I'll just quickly check in the other folks that we have. Maybe send. Oh, thank you so much, Vishal. Now that we are live, I think we can go with a bit of intros by the time the other folks hop into the call and then probably proceed. So, hello everyone. Welcome aboard. This is another Monday and another websites call where we discuss about all the different contributions people have made in a particular area, which is basically all the websites that we tend to have. And we also assign folks with issues here if time permits, and we usually follow up or have a mentoring session. Today, we do not have a mentoring session up for you, but next week, surely we will. It would be a deep dive into a particular segment or sector of the code base or repository that you can work on and contribute towards. And yes, apart from that, I'll be your host for the day. Vishal and I would be taking you through the entire session. We would have a quick discussion on an area that was covered in one of our past calls, but just giving everyone a refresher, probably highlighting some areas that you should keep in mind, which would come up later today, and also cover up the different issues people have been working on or will have been contributing over the past couple of days. So without any further ado, I guess it's time for us to begin the session. I would again take a moment and add this link in the chat for the other folks who've just joined to click on and add their names in the attendees section. And with that, I guess we are good to go. So we tend to have a general notion where we invite the newcomers who are there on any of our website calls or any of the other calls that we have in the organization to come forward and introduce themselves. Their introduction basically includes the name, where they are from, what they are doing at this point of time, what's their tech stack, how did they get to know about Meshi, and what are their expectations. This not just helps them introduce themselves to a larger crowd of community members, can help them navigate through. It also helps us to assign them or direct them towards a particular area of focus that they can work on. And yep, I'll quickly take a look just to see if we've got any of our newcomers here. I think Karan, Vishal, Matthew, and Mahir probably have joined. Andrew, is this the very first time that you're joining the website's call? If yes, do you mind unmuting and sharing a bit about yourself? And please, I genuinely apologize if you've been here in the past and introduced yourself. Um, if you'd be willing to unmute and share a bit about yourself, that'd be great. Lest you could also write down your intro in the chat section, and we'd be happy to take that up. Mahir, just a quick confirmation. Is this the very first time that you're joining the call, or you've been here in the past as well?
Nah, I have also attended the past meetings, but I just came particularly today to discuss some issues that I found to be contributed. I have some questions related to that. Like if anyone willingly to answer, it will be like great.
Sure, maybe we can take that up at the end of the call once we are done with the couple of issues that we have for the day, if that's okay for you, and would really appreciate your patience until then.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Great. Then I don't think we have newcomers up in the call. Another notion would be Vishal, I, Matthew, and Karan do have our videos on. Would appreciate if the others could also turn on their videos if feasible and they have a proper bandwidth, because that helps us understand and communicate better and assures us that we're not talking to walls or AI agents, so to say, and we're talking to folks who are up there on the other side. So with that, we usually follow up on a couple of standing agenda items that people have been working on, or maintainers have been contributing towards, or taking care of, and it's an ongoing item that we cover up first before hopping on to any of the issues. So a couple of standing agenda items that we have in hand would be our MDX migrations. Just to give all of you a quick context, one of our pages, which is the layer 5 page, this is built with the help of Gatsby. And there was an ongoing Gatsby and MDX migration happening. The Gatsby version has been successfully updated, and Sudhanshu is working towards the MDX migration. Unfortunately, he's unable to join the call for the day, so we wouldn't. I expect we wouldn't have an update on the MDX migration today, but I guess we do have our catalogs, which most of you can find inside another one of our pages, which is the meshi.io/catalogs, which is right here. And Vishal was working on, adding a bunch of these types and designs and a lot of things that you see here. And he's also a maintainer in this area. So Vishal, do you mind unmuting and sharing a bit about the progress that we've had over the past week in catalogs, maybe some issues that you have that folks can contribute to?
Sure. So thanks a lot, Ankita. I'll quickly, sharing about the catalog. Experiencing some unstable bandwidth, so apology for that. But right now, this is our catalog. We have a couple of places where we have this catalog, which is basically a collection of various cloud native infrastructure as a design. So, in fact, these are infrastructure that you actually can interact with in a live Kubernetes cluster environment, playing around with each individual component, which they are made up of. So these are models. So, and you can take a look at these catalog items just like you would do or any shopping site. So, for example, if you take a look at designs, you can navigate each of these, what they are, what they do, what the author, and then how you can play around with them in a, like I said, playground. So as you click on it, it takes you to a dedicated page where you can know more about these designs. So recently there has been an effort in making making it look more presentable, and so there's a PR up from Fahim. Fahim is not able to join the call, but quickly, if I can open the deploy preview. So on all of our sites that we usually cover in this meeting, whenever you have a PR up there, you will be having a bot coming up and bundling your changes and then deploying it on a link that you can share to see your changes that you have made. So that's a very convenient way of taking a look what were the changes that you made, and in fact, if there's anything that's not desired or that you did not intend, you also can revert them. We will go to catalog. Once again, it's taking a little time. Oh yeah, so there it is. So Fahim made effort into making this look more like a catalog and not some collection of items, so that folks can differentiate between different types of catalog. So designs, filters, and models. And now if you click on any one of them, for example, if I click on designs, it takes you to a dedicated page where we have all designs, and you will be able to see all the filters, checkboxes. Yeah. So you may be seeing just the changes in layout, how it's did, and if it makes sense to you that this way it's more presentable and giving folks an idea that yep, there are 3 different type of items in the catalog, or if there's any operations that you have in mind, I'd also appreciate if you sound off with that. And it's true for other 2 type as well, like filters and models. So it's true for them. It will be similar for them as well. And yeah, if you want to take a look at this PR and offer your suggestions or feedback, I'll be quickly sharing this link in chat. So feel free to give feedback and leave your review on Fahim's PR. That would be helpful. We have a more advanced, or say, a better looking catalog at this location. And let me also quickly share this in chat. Until it loads, we'll be taking a look at this, catalog itself. Looks like it's, it won't load. So on this catalog, you can take a look at metrics as well. So by the way, in future or right now, you are working on any design that you want to publish. In fact, you can start with the starter templates that Ankita personally has worked on, and they are very good resource for you to be just getting started with the system and interacting with it. So, and later, if you decide to publish them, you can find that design in this catalog. And also, like, if it's getting popular, you can take a look at that too. So this catalog has this much extra information about various items. So once again, this is not loading for me, but definitely it will be doing it for you. So the link is in chat. So I think that's pretty much about catalog. Anyone has any thoughts or any suggestions?
Well, we
Looks
pause
like
for
no.
a bit for others to unmute, but the other page looks really amazing. Fahim has done a great job. If that's okay for you, Vishal, I assume we do not have any feedback at this point of time, but folks, you can definitely check out all these pages, the deployment links and the PR, and add your review as and when required. Thank you so much for sharing the insights on the catalog updates, Vishal. This really looks great. The next thing up is the assistant documentation. So for the folks who do not know, if you come up here on our layer 5 page, on our products, you go up there, you'll find assistant, which tends to be our design system. And as we do not have newcomers on the call, I won't go ahead explaining why and where we use our design system. It's basically everywhere. We tend to reuse this particular part of our project or this particular repository pretty much a lot. There's been an ongoing initiative that Vidit and Sudhanshu have been spearheading and overlooking, which involves adding documentation for all of those system components. There have been a bunch of contributors who have come forward and have been working in this area. There are a bunch of open issues. We still have a couple of folks today present in the call who would be proceeding and sharing about their issue that they've been working on, but it's basically a general documentation of the design component that we tend to have inside system, how it can be used, the different forms of implementation, a bit about it. And this is basically what we wanted to do. So I think we do not have Sudhanshu or Vidit on this call. Probably. Yes, we don't have the both of them present in this call today, but I'll take a moment and share. I'm sorry about that. I'll take a moment and share this link in the chat section that all of you can refer to. This is basically a list of all the open system issues that you can work on and contribute to. So there have been a bunch of these contributors who have commented that they want to work on it. They've probably raised a PR, but they haven't been active, and it's just lying around. So please take a moment, go ahead and check out if there's any component whose documentation you would like to add, and feel free to comment down below and we'll assign it to you so that you can add a documentation for that very specific component here. If you're wondering how do you contribute to this area, if you're wondering what tech stack you need, so as I mentioned earlier, this is built on top of Gatsby, but still you can follow up one of our training sessions that we had that Vidit had conducted a couple of weeks ago, to be specific, 2 months ago. I'll add a link for it in the chat section as well. You can take a look at this entire YouTube tutorial that was there. Go through it, try to understand how you can contribute to this area. If you still happen to have questions, either ask for some assistance in the discussion forum or check the discussion forum out, head out on Slack, or the best way would be to ask it directly inside the issue that I probably lost track of. No, we do have it here. So you can directly mention the queries that you have and proceed with working on it. Yep. So this would be a call for action. Unfortunately, I don't think I have an exact update because we don't have the maintainers here who can let us know how far along are we, the number of components that we have already done that are in progress and are yet to be completed. But it's a general call for folks who want to work or are waiting to be assigned an issue to go ahead and start contributing. This is an amazing place you can begin with. With that being said, we'll quickly shift the gears and move towards a discussion that we have that's also around Systent. So as I mentioned earlier about Systent, which is our design system, I'll add a link to it in the chat that you all can refer to. Basically, this is how the code base is set up. You can go ahead and take a look at all of those components that we tend to have when you enter here, and then you can go up to our base and then check out all the base components that we tend to offer and that we regularly use in our other projects. So the topic of discussion for the day is there are a bunch of contributors who are either adding documentation or who are either adding a new component or who are reusing these components in the other code bases that we have all across the all across the organization in different repositories. So if you're someone who's working with Systent and you are stuck at a position or you're stuck at a point where you have to add certain amount of theming, styling, or color to your component, I think we can quickly take a look at any one of these. I'll go ahead with the accordion component. So let's say you want to add a specific color to the dark theme and light theme of this component being used throughout. To do that, just to give you a heads up before we delve into the colors, we recently migrated most of our repositories are using Systent components consistently. They do have theming, that general theming that has been added, but at times it's a bit out of place. It's not an eye candy, to be honest. So there are issues that you can work on and contribute to in that area. And to do that, what you'd have to do is now that you're using this very specific component and you want to figure out where do I find or how do I figure out the different colors that can be added, you can take a look inside System. I'll add a link here. You can take a look at this particular palette or the theme palette. When you come down below, you'll notice we tend to have a light mode and the different light mode palette options. And then we tend to have a dark mode and the dark mode palette options. So all you have to do is you have to do theme dot palette dot whichever option you're going ahead with. So let's say you have to change the color of the accordion's background. You'll go ahead with theme dot palette dot background dot whichever shade suits you best. You go ahead and add that that you think matches our design system or our brand kit and matches the UI if you have the Figma UI ready for it or available for it. So that's how you generally proceed. When you do that, irrespective of which mode you're in, a dark or a light mode, the very specific shade would get added, because here we've ensured that all you have to do is go ahead and add what you want to change and the very specific color that you want to add there. And for the dark and light theme, respectively, the changes would reflect. Let's say you are curious and before adding and checking it out while you're coding it on VS Code or Codespaces or any other tool that you're using, you want to know what exactly Charcoal 100 is or what exactly any of the other colors present here would be, maybe, let's say Keppel 50 is. You can head out to another page or another thing that we maintain inside Systent, which is our colors. I hope I sent that correctly. Yes. And scroll below, you'll notice all of those numbers that we tend to have and the exact shades listed here. So you can take a brief overview or you can take a look at what are the different colors and shades available and then add and like get an idea of what exactly you're dealing with. Maybe it's there, maybe it's the ideal shade you want, maybe it's not. If you tend to see that you want a very specific shade, or there's a requirement for a very specific shade to be up there for a given Systent component, and you at this point of time do not have that listed inside any of these general standardized colors or inside the theme palette, what you can do is you can go ahead and raise an issue. You can take a look at our brand kit, whose link I'll add up in the chat as well. Once you take a look at the brand kit, you'll get an idea of the general shades and colors that we tend to accept. And you can choose from a shade, you can choose a shade here. You can go through the brand guides and ensure that the color that you're suggesting does not go or does not cross the boundaries that we've set for the color scheme, and raise an issue. One of our maintainers will take a look at it, and based on that, we can add it either here, or we can directly do something like, if it's inside Systent, there's another way that you can do or add the color, which is theme dot palette dot like you select a mode, theme dot palette dot mode is equals to, if it's a specific color that has to go into light theme, and you don't have a matching shade here, you go ahead and add that shade. A general overview of why we went through this discussion, or why are we even mentioning this. So you see these Systent components by default, they tend to have a style. And when you head out to any of our other pages, maybe Meshri in general, or it's playground.meshri.io. So sorry about that. So whether you head out to playground.meshri.io, or you head out to cloud, or you head out to any of the other pages that are using these Systent components, you'll notice, though the same component is used across different sites, the theming is different. So while you're working, if you have to create a new component, you create it and then you don't know where it's going, and how it should represent. So the person, either you or the other person who is adding it there, can go ahead and take a look here inside the Systent color palette and themes, and then change it. Or if you're the one who has to go ahead and add it for a pre-existing component, then you can quickly take a look here, go ahead and add the exact shade present. Yep, that would be a very quick overview of the palettes and colors that we have in Systent, where you can refer to the pages and the exact code files that you can reach out for, and then update the styles and colors. We've had a bunch of contributors over the course of the past 2 to 3 months who've complained that it's easy for them to create a component, but it's hard for them to add a theming. So to ensure that you have a smooth contribution time while you're creating and adding newer Systent components, or reusing existing Systent components, while you're adding the themes, you can refer back to this video, or just take a note of how and where you have to head out to, and probably add the themes and colors as and when required. I'll pause for a moment just to see if we've got any questions in the chat regarding this, or if any of you have any questions, please feel free to unmute and let me know. We'll be happy to cover this. You can also refer to one of our previous calls we had about 2 weeks ago, where I did a live demonstration or a hands-on session of adding Systent colors from these palettes. That would also help you understand how things work. It's a bit out of scope, and we have to cover a bunch of other issues that folks have raised. So I wouldn't go into a hands-on session, and I wouldn't show you how it's done in today's call. But thank you so much for your patience and understanding. Just waiting a bit more to see if you've got any other questions or doubts regarding this area in general, or people being curious of, where do I even begin with, what do I change, and how do I go about? Yep. I don't think we have any questions. That's great. Either it was too clear or it wasn't clear at all. I rather ended up confusing things a bit more for folks who were curious. But with that being said, we'll quickly head on to our next segment of the call, which is discussing the open PRs and issues that people have been working on, or different contributors present in this call have been contributing to. So we'll begin with the very first page, which is our layer5.io page. I'll add a link to it here. And as I mentioned earlier, layer5.io is built on top of Gatsby. So all of these things that you're seeing here, you might need a bare minimum understanding of Gatsby to go ahead and proceed and contribute. But we've still got a couple of contributors here. And if you're curious about the repository that holds the code for this page, here it is. If you're someone who wants to contribute to this page and are still new, you can go ahead and take up any of the 176 issues that we are willing to close at the earliest and contribute to them with the similar procedure of going ahead and adding your comment below, and we'll assign it to you. Yep, so moving ahead, we have Firoz, which, if I'm not wrong, was Andrew. So Andrew, hoping that your class, like you haven't left for your classes yet, if you could unmute and take us through this item that you've been working on. And before you begin or unmute, just a quick notion for everyone else present in the call. Basically, when we ask any of our contributors to come forward and take us through their PR or what they've been working on, we expect them to start sharing their screen. Go to the particular PR that they've been working on, which is already open up here for me. Take us through the issue or give a brief about the issue that was actually involved, owing to which they opened this PR. What was the suggested fix from their end? And if there's a deployment link, like we have in Andrew's case, click on the deployment link and share the deployment preview. And we'll have the reviewers comment and add reviews to your PR. The other thing would be if you face any form of glitch, lag, or an issue where you cannot present your screen, let me know. I'll go ahead and share the screen on your behalf, but you might have to unmute and take us through the different things that you've been working on or the thought process that you've had while fixing this. So, Andrew, do you mind going ahead and taking us through this issue? Just checking. Okay. I can't see a reply from Andrew, or I can't see him unmuting yet. Is that okay for you, Andrew, if we circle back to you if you need some time, or do you want me to present this item on your behalf?
Yes, I recall
Vish,
Andrew sounded off that he cannot speak, so maybe we can once take a look at the changes.
perfect. Thank you so much for reminding me. And I apologize, Andrew. I probably missed that message. So, if I take us through, this is the very specific issue that Andrew is attempting or aiming to resolve. And this is the PR associated with it. So if you take a look there, the dark mode on the interactive labs doesn't display the correct colors. Okay, so there's this is what we expected it to look like, but it doesn't. I'll quickly take us through /learn. And now that we are here, it was service mesh labs, if I'm not wrong. Yep, here it is. Okay, so in light mode, this is still dark, and in dark mode, it's just the background that's changing. This is how it looks in the light mode and dark mode. So it was an ask, there was an ask for it to be resolved, and I believe there were a bunch of folks who were probably 2 days ago, Andrew was assigned, and let's take a look what he edited or changed. He has changed the styling files and the static color to white, etc. So when there's a toggle, it works. And then he's also added a filter, which wasn't advised. So we'll just take a look at the code files real quick to see. That's perfectly fine, Andrew. We'll you can refer back to this video in the future and take notes. We'll add some reviews there for you. So there was a static color here in the past, and he's added a prop for it. that looks good. And there was another static color here that he's changed. So it looks, okay, there was a typo that he has fixed as well. And the content has been changed black to white. I think we just have to take a look here what the exact shade that he's changed it to. But regardless, it looks good to me at this point. Vishal or the others, if you have any reviews, please let me know. I'll take a moment and open the deployment preview so that all of us can take a look at it. Oh, Vishal is already a step ahead and he's already added that. Thank you so much, Vishal. That helps. And I'll add this and we'll just quickly check how this looks. So this is what it looks like in the dark mode. I think the indentation or the orientation has changed a bit. It should have been center aligned. I'm not sure if the others can see and notice this, but I believe the padding has been affected. The color scheme looks fine to me. I think I'll just add a review. Maybe we can work a bit on the padding.
Also, like the color, I mean, icon for the technology, I think they can be colored version of them. So, for example, Istio, it could be colored
Yes.
version of it, the light theme.
Yes, definitely. I'll take a moment. I'll add the review for Andrew in the background. But apart from that, I think the file changes that he has had here looks good to me. We'll wait for the reviewers. As I can see, Sudhanshu, Amit, and Vidit have been added as reviewers. So more or less, Andrew, this looks good. It's just a couple of other fixes like the indentation, and maybe you can in the light theme you can add colors to the logos that we have, the real colors for the logos. And I guess that's a good one. Thank you so much for working on this, Andrew. Um, just checking in if there were folks who had some reviews for Andrew. You can sound it off in the chat section or let us know by unmuting. Oh, looks like we don't. So we'll quickly move ahead and take up this item that Adil has been working on. I'll just checking if we've got Adil on the call. Looks like we don't. And this is one of those. So early in the call, we spoke about table components or like system component documentations. And Adil is someone who's been working on these for quite a while now, and he's contributed to a couple of components. So this is another table component that he has added. I think we've had folks who have added reviews and the correct set of folks who are reviewing this. So maybe they'll cover it up in the chat itself. But that was a general overview of what he's been working on. He's adding a new documentation for the table component that we have in Systent. Moving ahead, we do have an item from Vishal about KubeCon. So Vishal, do you mind sharing a bit about this? And then we can proceed with Madhavan's items. And I'll take the time to go ahead and add a review for Adil. Sorry, Andrew. Apologies.
Sure. So I'll quickly do that. So this is one of the chores, like adding one of the events that we'll be having in April in Europe. So KubeCon and CloudNativeCon, where two of our maintainers, namely Yash Sharma and Sangram, will be speaking about Mishri. So, and this event is adding that only. There's the PR, there's some details yet to be confirmed, and I'll be updating them accordingly. But for now, it is available at this particular page. I will quickly, in fact, you can access all the past events too from this page. Basically, layer 5 IO/events. Talking about this one, there would be two sessions given by the maintainers. So if you want to take a look at the date and timing, you can find that, and also the events from CNCF. So that's also there. And by the way, if you're interested in taking a look at the profiles, the community member profile, you also can navigate around that. So that's pretty much about this one. Yeah, like folks who are long enough in the community being consistent and impactful, they get this chance to represent the project at any national or international, events like KCD and KubeCon, CloudNativeCon, and similar events. So you also can be one of these folks. So I think that's pretty much about it.
Thank you so much for that, Vishal. I'll resume the screen sharing and we'll quickly proceed with this item that Madhavan has. Just checking in if we've got Madhavan on the call.
Hi, good evening.
Yes. Hi there, good evening. Madhavan, do you mind taking us through both your items and following the similar structure? The issue first, your suggested fix, and if you have a deployment preview link, taking us through the deployment preview link would be ideal.
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Thanks a bunch. Yep, you can proceed with sharing your screen.
Yes. Hi, so I have two PRs for today. One of them is fixing padding and overlap, which I think Vivek has merged already. But just to show the changes, earlier there was an overlap, and on mobile view, there was a lot of padding issues. So as you can see, I have fixed the overlap here, and in mobile view, um, yeah, a lot more padding has been given on these sides, so it's more readable and it looks better. So this was one PR, and it has been merged. The other PR was to add a .nvmrc file. So in the Meshri organization, Meshri/Meshri repos and similar repositories, there is a .nvmrc file which standardizes the node versions for all the contributors. I mean, this can be done through Docker, but for those who are contributing through local cloning, NVMRC make sure that they are using the correct node version. So Amit has been added as a reviewer, but I have added the latest a long-term support version in V20 as the versioning for the .nvmrc file. So this is one PR. The third one is there was an issue which made it so that the GitHub Actions bot was commenting twice whenever labels were added. So I have fixed that. To fix that, I have simply added conditional statements in the YAML file. So now it checks whether if a comment has already been added, and if so, it does not do it again. And this for this review is pending, but I'm sure this will happen in some time.
So
Yeah, that's
thank
it.
you so much for taking us through the items, Madhavan. If you could still have that up. So another general notion that I probably forgot mentioning was after you cover up each item or each PR, it would be advisable if you could take a quick 2-second pause just to see if people have some review on that, and that really helps. So I'll do that on your behalf today. So if
Yes, thank
the
you.
folks present in the call have any suggestions for either of the PRs that Madhavan just shared, please feel free to unmute and share your reviews, or I'll proceed with adding the different PRs that he was working on in the chat section that you can refer to, and probably add some comments or your suggestions for the same. So it's one of his PR, and I guess the other one was merged. Yes, the other one is merged. This is one of his PRs that's open. So now I believe we do not have folks who have some suggestions for you for the day. So thanks a bunch for working on these issues, Madhavan. Really appreciate it. We'll ensure you receive the feedback at the earliest, and you can work upon them, and we can get them merged.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great. So with that, I'll resume my screen sharing, and with that, we're done with all the items for layer5.io for the day. We'll be heading over to our next website, that is Mesh. Oh, whoops. I'm so sorry about that. That's Meshri.io, which is this page. This is how it looks. Here it is. And Madhavan, just a heads up, Vishal has a comment for you in the chat. If you could answer that in the chat section, that would be ideal. So Meshri.io is built on top of Jekyll. And if y'all are curious and want to contribute to Meshri.io, just a second, I'll quickly add in the GitHub repository that you can refer to. I apologize, my throat tends to get bad. Mahir, just 5 more minutes, if that's okay for you, and then we can, cover up your issue or the suggestions or questions that you have. So this is Meshri.io page, or this is the code base for Meshri.io that's on top of Jekyll. If you're someone who wants to work in this area, please feel free to do so. We do not have any contributors who want to work on this today. but we have an open call for volunteers, or call, an open issue that anyone present at the call can go ahead and take a look at. And here, probably Vishal, do you mind just quickly giving everyone an overview about this issue?
Yeah, very quickly. So I'll try to share this in a new tab. So this site is basically on Jekyll, which lets us do some templating. So based on a template, you can render any similar pages. And if I can quickly show you. So all of these cards that you see, in fact, there are 600 plus. And if you click on any one of them, for example, if I filter on designs and I click on this particular design, it has this page, and there are similar such pages for all the cards that you see. Now we are not writing an individual HTML file for these many cards, right? And so how it's working is we simply are defining a layout. So there's this concept of layout, and you can define a layout for different collections. You can find collections into this particular folder, and layouts will be in this. So, and let me quickly go ahead by showing. So this is catalog collection, in which we have these many folders. Inside these folders, there are 600 plus markdown files, which are basically acting as source of data for all of these individual pages, like this one. And the styling and structure of these pages are defined in catalog and layout collection. So sorry, not the collection, but layout files, and which is this one. And there's one for integrations as well, if I'm not wrong. Another site that is this one, documentation platform Mishri. It has a better, example of how many pages are created from one single layout. So for example, all of these integrations that you see, all of these pages are created by one single layout that goes by the name of integrations layout. You can find that in Mishri repo. I'll leave that for you to be checking out. And if you are not able to find that, let me know and I'll share the link. But ask basically here is that I quickly take you to programs. So there are many programs that we participate in. And for example, let's take a look at Google Summer of Code. So this is 2025 Google Summer of Code ideas, and like you will find the same for 2019 and so on. For each of these pages, we have like individual HTML file, and let me quickly share where that is. So inside collections, in programs, yeah, there. And in here, as you can see, we have these individual HTML files. This is not ideal. We will ideally be having markdown files with just the data for each of these design, programs, and a singular template which will render them automatically, just like the integrations in Mishri documentation and catalog items in this particular site. So that's basically the ask. I think this has a little more detail on the issue. So that's the first part. And I think that's straightforward, because you just have to consolidate it and make sure that we are using a reusable template. That's it. All the styling and structure is already in place. The second bit is that currently, if you see this page, the GSOC program page, and similarly for other programs too, it follows the same structure. It's not very legible and readable. So if anyone of you would like to help in enhancing it so that it's more presentable and easy to read to folks, that's all that will be appreciated. And for that, you simply can sound off into the comments and we'll be good to go. And ideally, like, one or two folks will be collaborating together, and so that's also fine if you just want to get assigned to one particular ask. Let me quickly share this in chat.
It's like Karan is interested. Karan, you can click on the link that Vishal just shared, add a comment below it, and we'd be happy to assign it to you. And looks like Madhavan, you've raised your hand. Vishal, is it okay if we take Madhavan's question now, or once you're done?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please go ahead, Madhavan.
No, I just also wanted to ask for assignment for the issue. That's it.
That's just awesome. So both of you can comment. like you already have done. So then we'll be able to assign both of you. In fact, I'll be going ahead by doing that right now. For some reason, I cannot see your name, but I'm sure that it will be now there. So yep, there you go. And yeah, make sure that you both decide which one of the tasks each one of you will be working on, so that you don't step on each other's toes. So just something to keep in mind.
Slack would be an amazing place for both of you to decide that. You could also share the insights inside the website channel so that everyone is aware who's dealing with what, and just keeps us helps us keep a track of these issues. Thank you so much for sharing this,
Yeah.
Vishal, and thank you so much, Madhavan and
Just
Karan.
one,
Please go ahead.
yeah, just one single detail that probably we also can cover it in next sites call if you were able to get it to the if you're able to finish it, so we can cover it on the next sites meeting. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
That's a perfect thing that you mentioned, Vishal. So if you're taking up some assignments, folks, in this call, and you have that resolved, or if you are up for it in the next call, or you just want to discuss the progress that you have made, feel free to add that. It's better to diagnose an issue sooner than suffer from it, and I think I know that best. So yeah, please go ahead and as you've been assigned, go ahead, distribute the tasks, and let us know if you need any form of assistance. A quick heads up to others in the call: Vishal is the maintainer for Meshri.io code base. So any questions, queries, and issues that you face, if that's not resolved via GitHub comments, Slack, or the discussion forum, feel free to ping Vishal. Probably he'll be happy to help you, provided he has the time and the bandwidth to cover that up. He's too busy. But thanks again, Vishal. We'll be moving ahead with docs.meshri.io, which is our next site. And just to take you all through, this is what it looks like. It's we basically tend to have two different documentations. One is docs.meshri.io, and this is basically Meshri's documentation, and then there's another documentation page that we'll take you through in a bit that deals with the cloud and Canvas documentation. But this very specific code base, you can find it inside Meshri/Meshri. So if you head out to our Meshri organization, inside the Meshri repository, you'll find the docs folder. And this is again built on top of Jekyll. So you need to have a prior Jekyll understanding or basic Jekyll understanding to go ahead and contribute to these issues that are open here. We do tend to have one of our contributors, Karan, who's contributed to an issue, and that's probably the last item that we'll even cover in today's call. So, Karan, do you mind going ahead and taking us through your item?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
So is my screen visible as well?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Just a
so
quick heads up, Vishal has a $1 rule. If you're not audible or your screen isn't visible, either of us would unmute and let you know. And
Oh.
apart from that, if you let us know or ask the question, he'll charge you $1. So it's your first time, so we are sparing you.
Yeah, okay, I'll make sure I don't ask this question next time. So yeah, I was reading the documentation and adding the calendar to my community calendar to my calendar. So I found this basic issue. So just a second, I'll show that. So yeah, the link wasn't formatted correctly. So I formatted it, and the link check was failing. So I also added a fix to that, and yeah, it is yet to be reviewed. So yeah, so I'll
Do you
update
mind
the branch.
taking Do you mind taking us through the lint check fix that you have? Really appreciate
Yeah,
your
sure.
attention to detail for fixing the broken
Yeah, so
link.
basically this is HTML. So I just added a tag for the
Yeah,
links.
that makes sense. I thought lint checks were failing, is what you
Yeah, the link
mentioned.
checks were failing because of the naming the React component was wrong. There was an underscore
Uh-huh.
and there was a typo here. So the link check was failing due to that.
Uh-huh. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Vishal, any reviews and comments that you might have? This is again another area of like this comes under your jurisdiction of maintenance. So your review and suggestions that you might have.
That's a good catch there on README. So basically, Markdown and HTML, they both don't go very well with each other, like together. So if we just remove the p tag and just have this syntax that's in Markdown for hyperlinking, it would work fine. But yeah, the anchor tag also makes sense, and definitely like this is good to go. And thanks a lot for.
Yeah, so I checked the whole documentation. Anchor tags are used across inside of p tags. So I just did that to maintain the consistency.
That's awesome.
And
So
I also had another pull request if I could show. Yeah, so it was basically adding sort and filter in all the tables. So yeah, it has been reviewed by Sudhanshu, and also I had commented. I had replied to Lee's comment. So review to that is pending as well. So yeah.
also, I see like you have mentioned that you tested these many pages. So you're doing that locally, right?
Yeah, I'm doing that locally. So what I did was I built the assistant library, and then I linked it to the local Meshery repo, and that is how I tested it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's possible for you to attach a video or a screenshot, like that really helps a lot, giving maintainers confidence that yep, it indeed is true. And
Okay, all
it
right.
really helps.
All right, I'll do that after the call. And there was another PI which I opened, and it got reviewed. So basically, I had fixed the like the contrast colors of the calendar in the performance page. So I used normal hex codes, but as Ankita showed in the start of the call, that we need to use assistant templates. So I'll do that. I'll use the assistant tokens and update the pull request. So that is all from my side.
Thank you
So
so
back
much
to
for
back,
the PRs.
back to
Yeah.
back, so many changes, and it's really great that you have
Yeah.
these many changes. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think what Ankita shared in the start of the call will be helpful to you as you are looking to incorporate system tokens and themes. So hopefully, that will help. And if not, you can ask in public Slack channels to Vidit or Amit. So they'll definitely be helping you out. Thanks a lot, Karan. Yeah, go ahead.
Some cheers and claps for you, Karan, for the attention to detail that you've had and the bunch of issues that you're opening and closing. Yep, would appreciate if you could consistently do that. And we definitely, it's really great to see a bunch of these open issues that you've been fixing or issues that we've missed and you've highlighted. So that's perfect. I'll just quickly take one moment, and then we can probably cover up a couple of questions that Mahir had. So just taking a quick moment to take all of you through a couple of templates. So this is an open area where I was tracking all of these issues and working upon as well. So we tend to have on playground.meshery.io, which is our designer. If you've had a chance to go through it, please go ahead and check that out, or head out to Canvas and check that out. We tend to offer an amazing tool which is going to give you an interactive building experience. What we want from a bunch of newcomers or contributors who are looking forward to contribute into this project is if when you come in for the very first time, you need a bunch of documentation. But what about folks who are going ahead and who wish to know how do they navigate through that tool and how do they use it, how what are the different features that they could use to recreate a couple of things. So we have a bunch of initial started templates that we want folks to work on. There are samples attached to this that you can take a look at. I'll probably go ahead and add a link in our website's meeting minutes for a video that we had there. I extensively mentioned how you can contribute to this field. But if you're someone who's interested, you can definitely go through the guidelines here, add your interest, and I'll go ahead and assign you this issue that you can start working on. We tend to have at least 10 to 12 open PRs in this area, like 10 to 12 open issues. So if you're looking or hunting down for a starting point, especially in Canvas or Meshery.io, this is an excellent place to begin with. And if you tend to have questions in the meanwhile, let me know. If you are waiting for, once you're done creating your design, the process would be a bit different. You don't need to open a new PR. You need to send a publishing request, or you need to tag me in your design. We have a very good feature that a bunch of developers and contributors have built, which is comments. Go ahead and in your design, add a comment and just tag me, Lee, or anyone else, and we'll go ahead, check the design, and give you some feedback, and then probably go ahead and publish it. Once it's published, just as Vishal mentioned, on Cloud, you tend to have a catalog page. The published designs do get a section as well. So I'll just take a moment, add this link back again. You all can refer to it, add your interests, and let us know. We'll be happy to, taking we've got a bunch of these issues, so any help provided in this area would be appreciated. And then we've had a bunch of other tutorials, specifically inside docs, whose links I'll also be sharing. Sangram had opened a couple of these. A bunch of people have worked. We've got a few of these up. We still need a few more. So if you're interested extensively in contributing to our docs, this is an amazing area for you to begin with. Take a look and let us know if this is something that excites you and is your cup of tea. We'd elaborate a bit more, share some samples that we tend to have of these tutorials and how you can proceed. And yep, that would pretty much be it about the open issues that we tend to have. And we've probably covered this issue that Karan had inside Systent, and with it isn't here, unfortunately, so we won't be covering this item for him. Systent, as mentioned earlier, is our design system, and we shared a bunch of these links as well. We are probably 2 minutes away from the deadline, and I think this would be an ideal time for us to take up a couple of questions that Mahir had. So thank you so much, everyone, before Mahir unmutes and shares his questions, for being so patient and bringing up all the items that you've been working on today. Mahir, it's time for you and your questions. We'll try our level best to help you out.
Yeah, that was some grueling session to be waiting upon. Never mind. So actually, I saw documentation on the Meshray website related to the Meshmates. Like I work upon the issues. So like, what's the process? I like didn't have like the clear understanding of that. If you like answer upon that, I can like push. I can like start upon working. And second thing I would like to ask is there was a template issue. I don't remember. It was like something like March 2023 issue, if I'm not wrong. And it's been like nothing, no activity like since then. Like not even like the latest comment. So like, is there like issue still open or like working under progress? Like I don't have the clue. That's why I came today. Yeah, that's
Yep. So Mahir, if you have such questions, you can definitely head out to our website's channel and add the link, and we'll answer it. Post this call, if you do not mind, please copy that link for that particular issue, paste it in the website's channel that we have on Slack, and just tag me with @Ankita Sahu, and I'll go ahead and Vishal, we'll go ahead and take a look at it and give you a heads up if that's open or not. The first half of it about Meshmate, I am genuinely sorry. I believe we lost you a bit in between, so we don't have your ask. Vishal, if you were able to hear Mahir and would like to answer the
so-
Meshmate issue.
Since he had the same question in chat as well, so that's that's really helped. So Mahi, like we have a dedicated section on it on our community handbook. So if you were on any of the newcomers meeting, we discussed these details there. So I'll quickly take that link and share that you not only this particular guidelines for contributing, but any number of other rules too. You are aware of them. I'll quickly share that in the chat box. I think this is the one. So in the handbook, there are a couple of sections that you can take a look at and know. Yeah, so I'll quickly go ahead by dropping this. Know that you also can refer to other sections on code of conduct and community guidelines. So that's it. You can refer to that after the call. But to answer your question, yep, definitely. If there's one issue that's assigned to someone else and they're not making progress, it's good of you to be asking them whether or not they're actively working. And if we don't get a response from them in timely manner, we can reassign. So that's something that obviously can be done. What you would want to avoid is, sending direct fixes unless told, and without being assigned to any issue. So that's something you would want to avoid. That's also accepted in some of the cases, but not always. So yeah, once you are assigned to a particular issue, that you can do by commenting on to that, like, you want to work on it, just like Karan and Mahadevan did in the call. And then when committee manager or Meshmates assigns you, you can start working and propose a fix. And if there's no response from either committee manager or meshmates or the issue author themselves, you can take that link and share in channels, just like Ankita shared. So that way it gives it more visibility and you will be assigned. So hopefully that answers your question. And for meshmates, if you want any guidance, with meshmates one-on-one, you can contact them. So again, you will have to head on to our community forum and then ask for pairing up with a meshmate. And if you use a search bar, you will find a couple of posts, by past contributors. That will also, I think, help. So I think, 1 week is, and in some cases, 2 weeks, but anything other than that, you will definitely want to ask them whether or not they are working.
And I hope that answers all your questions for the day, Mahir. We do have the pause and policy hitting, and I might not be jailed for keeping you awake waiting for a couple of more minutes, but we are already over time. Karan, as mentioned earlier, you can definitely add your question in the Slack channel related to whichever page it is and tag the relevant folks. And if you do not know who the relevant folks are, regardless, just add that message there. And if all of you or either of you or any of you ever tend to have questions in general, you can definitely head out to our discussion forum here. I'll add a link to it in the chat section. Sorry for that. Yep. So you can head out to our discussion forum, and our discussion forum is a place where any of the questions that you have, you can ask here or search for, and you'll definitely find someone or the other. See, there's someone who has had a request that they need a meshmate. They spoke a bit about themselves and they are requesting to be assigned a meshmate. And there are folks who will go through this, and meshmates will go ahead and respond. Or if you're unable, you're setting something up and you're unable to do it, then go ahead, like someone raises an issue, either go ahead and check what issue was raised and see if the below mentioned suggestion works for you. If not, go ahead and open another issue and ask. But it's a good practice to seldom go ahead and check first if there's an open issue or there's an open thread that you can refer to that would fix your problem. Lest go ahead and open up a new issue and mention about it. Apart from that, we also tend to have, like, Slack's always there, and there's another page that's in our handbook that I'll share with all of you. You can take a look at our handbook here. What this would help you do is you'll get a brief understanding of the folks who are managing or maintaining a particular project or repository, and you can directly tag those people in the public channels. Try avoid entering into their DMs, because Slack doesn't allow more than 10 to 12 DMs being shown. So even if you have DM'd and there are a bunch of folks who are DMing these people, it'll get lost and there's no way they can again get back to it. So it's not that they don't want to reply, it's just that Slack wouldn't let them reply. It's just going to get lost forever. And the last thing before we hop off is we tend to have something like a community calendar that all of you can refer to, that enlists all the different days where we host such calls like today. Today was dedicated to all of these generally front-end facing websites that we tend to have. We also have a call every Wednesday regarding Meshri development that's solely in and around the Meshri repository. We saw a brief about the Meshri repository here. So this is the one. You can go ahead and work, like any issues that you contribute to here, you can go ahead and discuss in that particular call. And if you're someone who is new to the community, go ahead and join the newcomers call first to get a brief overview. And for the other CNCF tag meetings and the build and release meetings that happen occasionally or bi-weekly, you can go ahead and sign up for them, attend them as well. To get an idea of when what's happening and the status, always feel free to refer to the community calendar. Probably add it to your calendar as well so that you never forget and get a reminder. But that would be it. We are already 6 minutes over. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening or this morning if you're from the Central Time Zone. It was great having you all here. We will be back next week with more issues, some more feedback, and definitely a mentoring one-on-one session. So stay tuned in with the discussion forum and the other places. You'll get to know about the mentoring session that's coming up next. Thanks again. I hope you have a great day ahead. Take care. See you soon.